Matt and Finn from the Woodland Shrimps YouTube channel here, and we're on day one of the pond build in our woodland. So if you caught up with our last wild camping video, we talked about this area. We've done a test hole. We're confident that the area, the dirt, is going to allow us to dig deep enough for the pond. But before we start any pond work, we've got to obviously clear the site. Woodland restoration, woodland management, often the initial phase, which is the removal of trees, does seem more murder than management. But it is really important to remember that we have to create light, you have to create a better environment for those new species. So the first task today is to remove the brash that's been left from the felling that we did roughly 6 months or so ago, to make sure that when we're felling the trees, we've got clear escape routes. We don't want to be tripping over anything once the trees are in a position to fall. What's interesting is how quick this brash breaks down, and most of this was felled just over 6 months ago. And if you snap that stick fin, you can see how it just breaks down so quickly. And that's the importance. All the brash that goes from the restoration, from the felling of the trees, is left in the woodland, and it creates fantastic habitat for the creatures that are gonna use it. Most of the timber that we felled as part of that first main thinning phase was shipped out of here, and the timber sales from that paid for all the works. However, the trees we're felling today are going to remain in the woodland, so they're all going to be left here to rot and obviously create dead wood and really increase the percentage of dead wood in this pond area, which is going to be fantastic for the wildlife. They do say dead wood in a woodland is more valuable for the wildlife than the living trees, so it's a really, really important aspect of that cycle of life. So that's cleared the area nicely now. So we're going to mark up now with a felling spray paint which trees are going to go. It pretty much is the ones initially that circle the pond. There are 3 little ones, 1, 2, 3. That's the direction that we're going to be felling in. So from that point of view, we'll remove those just because they're probably going to get smashed anyway. It's hot work, isn't it, Finn? They do say you burn thousands of calories a day working in the woods. Burning off a bit of that Christmas stodge though, which is good. So let's get those trees marked up, Finn. 1, 2, 3. Do you want to go and do those? Perfect.
Don't we need to mark the small ones?
Do you want to? And last one. I think it's worth stressing at this point that this is not meant to be an instructional chainsaw video. It's just literally documenting the process of how we're going about building our pond and woodland management generally. Just to give you a little bit of background, I've done a 2-day basic chainsaw course which allows me to use a saw on my own land. I've also spent a couple of days with the arborists when they were on site felling trees, and I've done other felling around this area, but by no means am I an expert. Finn is with me, but obviously the nature, he's 8 years old. I'm keen for him to learn and watch these techniques, but he's going to be absolutely nowhere near the saw and nowhere near the felling zone. Finn, eventually he will get a chainsaw, he will learn how to use a chainsaw, so if you can see it now, it's a really important process for him to do. So Finn, this is the gear we're going to use. These are felling wedges, some sort of lumber hammer to knock them in, and this is the Husqvarna chainsaw that we're using. So we'll show you how to set that up. Pop your helmet on. So PPE is important, so you've got your helmet, got your ear protection and your eye protection, although you're obviously going to be so far away you're not really going to need any of that, but you might as well have it anyway. And I've got chainsaw boots and chainsaw trousers, so that's going to protect me if the saw happened to touch my leg. Now what's important with a chainsaw is this thing. So this is a chain brake, so when I pull it like that, the chain will spin, and whenever I'm not using it, I flick it on, and now suddenly the chain is locked now, so it can't do any damage. Okay, so whenever it's not in use, I'll flick it on as well. Okay, so to get the thing fired up, we're going to need to pump it full of some fuel first. So what I want you to do is press that button 5 or 6 times. It's been a few weeks since I've used this, so press that. That's going to draw some fuel up through it. That's now full of fuel. So we're going to put it into choke. So if I pull it up, and then we're going to pull it in a second. Okay, so pop your ear defence on. So we start it on the floor. So it's in the choke position, put it there, lock it, and then we're going to do a couple of pulls just before it starts to kick over there. Then lock it off. So it's important you get the chainsaw warm before you start. So we're going to go over to these little trees here. So the only reason you're allowed to stay close, Finn, is because that was such a small tree. But you can see here, so we had the notch. I mean, I didn't need to be super precise at all with this because it's such a small tree. But we had the notch, or the face cut. We left the hinge, cut from the back, and then just pushed it over. But you've asked, do you want to push
that one down?
Finn, this one here, this little one here, Finn, that's in our way from that one. So we'll take that one first. So I'll notch that one and back cut it, and you can push that one. We can do. Do you want to do that way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe just in that direction.
We'll break down each element of this, so I'll call you back in, but go and stand over there. If you could just remove that one branch, because that will be the route that I'm going to move. So what we can see here, this is the face cut. Now that's quite a shallow, quite a narrow face cut there, which doesn't matter so much on a smallish tree like this, but what I might do is just open that up a little bit more, or I could open it there. Now it's important from a directional point of view, if I put the saw here where I've made that cut, Finn, now can you see that black line that runs there? Because that's square, so if I know that's sat within the cut, within the notch, that's the direction that tree is going to fall, which is exactly where we want it to go, into that empty space there. Okay. Corners there meet there, so there's no Dutchman or anything like that, so I haven't undercut that at all. So other than just opening that up a little bit, taking the face off that, which will allow that tree to fall further, so the back cut's going to come in level with the face cut, ideally. So I've cut through about a third there. We're going to leave 10% of hinge, and I'm going to come in there, and then you can just push it over. Okay. So you can see we've got a wider face cut there now, and the back cut has come in, and that's the distance, so that's going to become the hinge. Okay, and if we move round behind the tree, and you can see that that's there. So wait there, Finn, let me get right out of the way. Now which way is your escape route going to be, Finn?
That way.
As soon as you start to see that tree start to go, you're going to move off that way and go and stand over there. Okay. Okay, that's it. So go. Perfect. Well done. So you see we're both well out of the way there.
Yeah, and because that's green, it's actually split. But if it's seasoned, it wouldn't normally be like spiky bits, it'll just snap.
It snaps off. So if we go back, and it's always worth looking at the stump, So this is the face cut here, that's the hinge, and then that's the back cut. So they're quite nice proportions. Roughly a third, 25, 30%, then 10% hinge, and then that's the back cut there. Okay? And then all the other trees are going to be bigger, obviously, so you're going to be
bigger.
Yeah, so you're going to be very much at a distance. Okay, this is going to be the first one of the larger ones we're going to take down, although it is only very much a medium-sized tree itself. If we look up, its weight is more that way, but we are wanting to drop it more in that direction. Don't want to get it hung up in that tree there. We definitely want it moving through that gap. I don't know whether I've mentioned already, but we're going to leave these stumps quite high because we're going to use them as fence posts to cordon off the pond area. So that's why we're cutting these ones now higher and not at ground level.
Like that low.
Yeah, which is what we would do normally. So we've got a face cut. What's this called?
Hinge.
Hinge. So you see how much that's pulled that fibre, and that's the back cut. Pretty much exactly where we wanted it to go. I'm just going to clean that up, and then we'll move on to the next one. Okay? Which should be, we have a look, the weight is fairly even on it, and it should push out through there. Okay then? This is a bigger diameter now, so we'll end up, most likely we'll wedge it. The problem with these smaller trees, you can see by the time you've got the saw in there and it starts to go, there's just absolutely no room. There's no room to get a wedge in at all, whereas a bigger tree, there's some room to get a wedge behind there. Okay? Oh, look at this. The one thing to be mindful here is this is a very rotten bit of limb here. So this had a secondary stem or limb. Now, what I don't know is how far this rot goes down. So we've got to face cut it and then make a decision on how we do, but this should be fine. But it's where this, I might go slightly deeper here for a slightly deeper notch just to avoid, so the hinge wood is definitely in the solid, but we'll make a decision on that. Obviously, well, I'll make a decision, you'll be well out the way. Okay then? I've cut half the tree, half the back cut here. I've brought up to where I want the hinge to be. Get the wedge in, so there's no way it's going to come back now. So we'll do the back side.
and it fell.
Yeah, it made a bang. So that was a bit different, Finn. So I cut from one half to get the wedge in so it doesn't come back. So there's the face cut, the hinge again, then the back cut through there, and then that drops away really nicely. So there wasn't much rot in there at all, Finn. So that's 2 down.
But me and Aiden can play on this like this.
Well, no, these are big lumps of wood, Finn. We don't want you playing on them, okay? This one's next, Finn. This one's the biggest, I think. It's got the biggest crown. Got to really make sure that goes nicely through that gap there. What we might do is this one might land on that and roll, so we've got to be, and that will cause it to kick up, so we've got to be careful. Okay, right then, let's go again. Go and resume your safe position over there, Finn. Do you want to come over here, Finn, a sec? With this one, Finn, this is a 15-inch bar on this chainsaw, but you can see that my bar isn't wide enough to do the whole tree. So what I'm going to have to do, starting on the low side, I'm going to cut in halfway, then put the wedge in, and then move round this side, move around the back of the tree, and then finish off the other half. So can you go and keep an eye on everything again? I know. Well, that's what a heavy tree can do. Bang. This is one that's got the secondary limb there. But then this is just flared out, big time thin. So we need to have a think whether we go lower with this one. I think just to be safe. I don't know what's going to go on with all this. Whether there's rot inside there and how far it goes down. So probably take this one lower. We haven't used loads of fuel yet, but what I don't want to do is it to conk out halfway through a tree. So there's two types of liquid you put in these chainsaws. The first thing, there's fuel, and there's oil for the bar. So there's it's bar oil, which keeps the chain lubricated. Now, when you're doing these, always do the bar oil first.
Why?
Because you know you've then done it before you put the fuel in. Because what you can do is put the fuel in first and then get distracted. You could be running the chainsaw when that's empty, whereas if you know, you always fill that up first.
Which one? How do you know which is which?
That's the chain oil, and that's the fuel. So we unlock it. Okay, and then you're going to gently just...
And you push it down?
Yeah, press it down. So it automatically stops. There we go. We'll do that up. There, you can hear the glug now, can't you? Yeah, because we're not bucking up the trees, we haven't been using loads of fuel. Right, so that's good.
I love that. Feels so...
It's good. It's quality, isn't it? The other thing about this tree then is it leans pretty hard. Fortunately, it leans straight in the direction that we want it to go in, so that isn't a problem. But we don't, if I'm cutting through from the back, we don't want to risk something called a barber chair where the whole tree splits. So I might do is bore cut this one.
What does that mean?
So it means sort of we cut the face cut as normal, but then bore in and remove both sides, remove the middle bit of the tree, and then just finally just cut the end and the tree will fall. So just to illustrate this, so we've got the face cut there, the holding wood, the hinge wood there, then we've got the bore cut, and then this is a strap at the back that's basically holding the tree up at the moment. So we're just going to slice that through and the tree should disappear. There you go then, Finn. So that I think will be the worst one. It's not the neatest stump you're ever going to see, so I had to attack it from both sides. But you see the hinge was preserved. Bit of a mess of the face cut. But then this in from both sides. Then that was a patch that was good quality wood in the end actually, that was holding it on. And then release that and then away the tree goes.
It makes such a big bang.
Does make a big bang, doesn't it? Just goes to show how much damage they can do and how dangerous, which is why you're at such a safe distance away. As it happens, there's no rot at all reached the cut, but I am pleased that I did it lower than the others. That's much neater now. But yeah, do you see how much that shot off? That's how dangerous it is.
It was like this.
Like a frisbee, wasn't it? I think we've got 5 more. My feeling is just crack on now, get them done, and then go and make lunch. Okay.
Get what done?
Get these last few trees done. that was millimetres away from the GoPro. Okay, so that is us done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 trees. So you can see all the stumps there. But that ring, and well, actually, if you think where Finn is now standing, that's pretty much going to be the centre of the pond. Some conventional cuts, a bit of wedging on the last one. This one was the bore cut, which was pretty tricky. And overall, probably the biggest collection of size-wise trees that I've done. Don't do anything with tree felling that you don't feel confident. If you never used a chainsaw before, get the right training, get the right skills, and then gradually build up. But I'm really pleased with the way that's gone. Just climbing out of here, so you can see the ring of trees there that we felled. So most of them were laying that way. The one ash went that way, and that final beech just went there. But yeah, that's it. So if you have enjoyed what we've done, and it's not over yet, we're going to go and get some grub, but if you've enjoyed this and want to really see how this woodland pond comes along, please hit that subscribe button. If you enjoy the video, hit the like, comment please. If you've got any questions about what we've been up to, I'll happily answer them, and your support's really appreciated. Nice one. Right, Finn, let's get that food going. You've worked hard today. Action man. What's been your favourite bit about the day then?
Eating these.
Eating this?
And watching the trees fall.
See, that's why I was telling you about the difference in these trees. These veterans were here before any of the other trees, and can you see how they've grown? And they've got huge canopies. Whereas all the younger stuff that's come on later, because that's created such a sort of a shadow really, and it's blocked so much light, they've had to just shoot straight for the sky. So they're really narrow, really spindly, with tiny crowns. They've just tried to desperately get it there as quick as possible to get the light that will give them life.
There's a massive gap there.
Yeah, that's because it's that sort of track area. So that's us done. Next job, we'll be back again with the chainsaw to limb and buck up those trees that we felled, and the material from that we'll use to create a natural wall or fence around the pond area that will eventually sort of decompose over time. So it will be essentially like a dead hedge, dead wall, dead fence, whatever you want to call it. So if you've enjoyed today's video, please give it a like. Please comment if you've got any questions, as I mentioned earlier. And if you want to see how that pond area progresses, or how we develop the channel from a woodland management perspective, then please hit that subscribe button, click the bell notification for when we release. And yeah, we're looking forward to seeing you on the next ones. Right, Finn, do you want to jump up, smash that screen?
Bye!